Ready? Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. It is 8885 West, 3500 South, Magna Utah General Office Building. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to welcome public and guests. And so our general manager, Clint Dealey, is on vacation, so I want to excuse him. We have Nathan Bracken, our legal counsel. Dallas Henline is vacation. Jeff White, Mick Sudbury, Danny Stewart's excused. Leal Fitzgerald, Andrew Sumption, and Raymond Mondragon, and Trevor Andre. So I'd like to welcome public and guests. Does anybody have any public comment they want to address the board? Okay, see none. Does anybody have any conflict on the agenda? I see none. Okay, project and award and agreement. Item F, who wants to address that?
I'll take that.
Okay,
So, if you remember a while back, we purchased the upgrade kits for each of the Triton aeration units. And that was the impeller upgrade that would bring that additional air capacity. And then, so digging into the installation, we didn't have, so from what I understand, we're talking with Dallas and Bo, is that the amount of time to put into that wasn't there on their end, as well as some of the equipment needed. So with Corio Construction doing the reuse project, they put together a cost to install those, and that's what you see here, the $24,000. We also reached out to a couple different contractors, one being West Tech, who has done other things like the clarifier drive motors, and they just basically said we're not going to put a bid in, we can't match that number. So this is the low bid and the only bid. We feel that it's a good cost. A large crane needs to be brought out, and the cost of that crane alone.
right.
So they have to take a crane, lift the unit out, and then put this thing on it,
And then drop it back on.
so
Yep.
basically it's labor and crane time, huh?
Yep, and this cost really is surprising, and I think that speaks to Corio, wanting to be a good partner, and the fact that they're out there working the crane time. I don't think they've charged us 100% because they can utilize for the reuse as well.
What else have they done for us, Corio?
Corio, they built the brine pump station.
Okay,
And the vault, right, at the treatment plant for that. And then they're the contractor for the reuse. So
they've done pretty good then so far.
they have,
Great.
yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So Jeff, do you want
Mr.
to?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Triton aeration upgrade kit installation at the wastewater treatment plant to Corio Construction in the amount of $24,436.
It's been second.
You will need to second it.
I second it. It's been motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I miss Danny. Okay, let's move on to item G, administration.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'll take that one.
Okay.
We have two resolutions, numbers 1 and 2, that have to do with the district receiving our certified tax rate from Salt Lake County. The first resolution is to adjust the budget that we adopted back in November so that our property tax revenue matches the certified rate and income that we're gonna get through property taxes. It's called a TC 96, which is in your packet. So our budget revenue has to match that revenue. So all this resolution is doing is matching that revenue and then subtracting out from another source line item, so that our bottom line budget doesn't change. The reason we do that is so we don't have to reopen the budget and have the public hearing and all that. So bottom line, the budget doesn't change, it just changes one revenue to the other. The attached budget, the highlighted line items are the line items that have changed.
Okay.
So if we're approving that and there's no money change, do we just adopt the resolution?
Yeah.
So I can just read it for what we've got right now?
Yes,
Okay. Do we want to do them all together or one at a time?
You could do these as, my suggestion is that you do these individually, just because you may have changes to one or the other as you discuss them.
Okay,
It's a little bit different than if you had minutes from multiple meetings, you all
Okay.
reviewed and you know they're good.
okay.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution 2023-01, adjusting the revenues budgeted in the district for the 2023 budget.
Second. So it's been motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
On the second resolution, it is adopting the tax rates that came in from Salt Lake County. I'll just tell you that, as everyone knows, our maximum is 0.08%, right? And last year, we were 0.0589 for the operation and maintenance rate. I was really surprised that the certified tax rate came in this year just a bit lower than that. I was thinking it
Wow.
was gonna be going clear down to half, like 0.04. So the certified tax rate came in from Salt Lake County at 0.000571. And that will give us revenue of $1,311,148. Then for the property tax, the general obligation bond portion of our tax rate came out to be 0.000987, which that's a little bit lower than last year also. That'll bring us in an income of $2,267,217. So I recommend adopting our certified tax rate at 0.000571, our debt service tax rate 0.000987, which is a combined rate of 0.001558.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution 2023-02, adopting the final 2023 tax rate.
Second. Been motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All that means is that our valuations didn't go up as high as
You're expecting.
normal, yes. Thank you.
Okay, presentation to motion to adopt the 2022 annual audit finance report.
So Ron Stewart, Stuart Gilbert, help me out with you. Gilbert Stewart is our new CPA firm,
Awesome.
and Ron is here to present his audit for 2022. And you're more than welcome to stand there, you're more than welcome to sit, just speak loudly.
Yeah, you're welcome to pull up a chair, whatever you want to do. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be here. Again, my name is Ron Stewart with Caleb Stewart CPAs. I have the pleasure of being able to audit your district for 2022. What I'd like to do is just take a couple of minutes and kind of tell you what we do, what our job is as auditors, what we're hired to do, and conclusions that we came to, and how we came to those conclusions. So there's really three things that an auditor looks at in a district of your size. district, and we performed a number of tests on those. We send out confirmations, which means we'll send a confirmation to an outside party and say, this is what we show, what do you show, and make sure those are reconciled and match. We do that for cash, send confirmation to banks, we do that for property taxes, send that to the county, look at debt, send out confirmations to all the lending institutions. All your OPEB, your pension liabilities will be confirmations back to them saying, what do you show as the liability out there, make sure those. That's a really good, the best approach you can take to verify and make sure that what we're showing is correct. We also pull a lot of invoices, so at the beginning of the year, we'll pull a sample. Those, make sure that everything ties, the check matches the invoice, and it hits the general ledger properly. That gives us a really good sense. It helps us as we're testing and looking at internal controls as well. We'll talk about in a minute. We do that for capital assets. When these assets are purchased, we'll make sure those invoices make sense. It should be accrued as a capital asset. Put on the depreciation schedule. And then accounts payable, we'll look at the sample of invoices after the end of the year and make sure that the expense or the service actually happened in this year, that it's actually quoted as a liability and expense hits the year in which the service hit. In addition, we recalculate, there's a lot of calculations on the financial statements, so we go back and recalculate those balances. A lot of your accrued liabilities, like pension, or your compensated absences, your accrued payroll, depreciation expense, we'll go back and recalculate the balances and say, does that meet accounting standards? And then we do a lot of analytical reviews. So at the beginning of the year, we'll look at the balances, we'll compare that to the last year and the year before, we'll say, what are we changing, why are these things changing? We start asking questions, and that helps us design the test and we make sure. As we're actually testing the balances, we'll do that again. So for instance, if we're looking at cash, we'll look at this year, last year, and say, okay, have we answered all the questions? Do we understand? And at the end of the year, as the financial statements are written, we do that a third time. We just make sure that we capture it, we'll be able to answer all the questions and the variances. Those are kind of the test, plus a lot of other things that we do. It gives us an ability to say that, hey, these financial statements that you have are materially correct. So if you look at our independent auditor's report, there's the first paragraph is a bullet point is opinion. The second paragraph says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position of Magna Water District as of December 31st, 2022, and the respective changes in financial position and cash flows for the year then in accordance with accounting principles. January 7th. That's an unqualified opinion. That's a clean opinion. That's the best opinion that we can receive. So what that means is we feel like the packet you have in front of you meets accounting standards and is materially correct, so we can rely on those. Second thing we do, we look at internal controls. We don't necessarily give an opinion on controls, but we do evaluate those controls to make sure that one, that they've been designed, two, that they're implemented, and three, that they're actually working. We do that through a lot of interviews, walkthroughs, questionnaires. We may fill out a tremendously amount of questionnaires about what we do, what are our processes, how do we do it. And then we use those as we're testing other balances, we make sure that those controls are actually being implemented and working. There was a big portion of the district that just didn't have any controls, and something had never been addressed. We would consider that a material weakness. There were controls that at one time had been designed and implemented, but maybe they're just not effective anymore in today's world. Let's say that's a significant deficiency, we can address that. Through our interviews or walkthroughs or testing, everything else, we felt like there was nothing that rose to the material weakness or a significant deficiency. So we feel like your controls are properly designed. And it's a good thing to make sure that we're looking at those all the time, because the environment, the world changes, right? So we always looking to make sure that those controls are safeguarding the assets of the district. And then the third thing we do is state compliance. So the state auditor comes out and says there are certain things you need to be in compliance with, and as auditors, they're saying you need to test
like we were supposed to this year.
That's good.
So that's kind of a really quick review of what we do as auditors and what our opinion was.
Okay,
Happy to answer any questions.
I'm just happy we're all in good shape.
Yes, yes.
So if you get a chance to go through the detail, any
Right.
questions, just, you know where to find me.
Yes,
But thank you.
appreciate that very much.
Just a shout out to the gal and their staff. She does a great job. We
Appreciate that.
A lot at her and a lot of questions and documents, and she has all the answers, so appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. That's it, right?
We do have to have a motion to.
Oh, yes, we do.
What?
To the annual audit finance report.
Sure, so, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve,
Actually, I think it's accept.
Yeah, you're right, sorry. Accept.
make a motion to accept the 2022 annual audited financial report.
I second. Been motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great rest
Very
of your
good.
day.
Yes. Okay, number 4.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Do you wanna take it?
Or-
Oh, Joel might be able to take it. Joel has been working on our consumer confidence report for 2022 and did a great job, looks great. This report is supposed to be out to our residents, or at least a link telling them where to find it, by July 1st. And so, I don't think we've had too many changes in it. If you have anything to say on it, Joel, feel more than free to pipe in.
Well, I guess a summary is each year we're required to pull the data together and present it to the public. So this, we use Cat 4 laboratories. Jordan Valley provides some testing. And then we also will include the CCR from Jordan Valley Water as well, because we purchase a portion of our water from them. In addition to what you see, so the data shows that all the tests were in good shape. Our report was great. We've also included some additional information on what the district is doing to look toward the future. Marie has suggested an additional couple of paragraphs to discuss what's going on with the the water sampling for lead and copper connections, and so we'll provide that. I'll provide an updated version with that included before we post it on the website. I think, like I
Okay.
say, we have
Till July 1st, yes.
a little bit of time, but it's coming up really fast.
Yes.
Marie, anything with regards to your addition?
Just that it's one of the multiple areas we've, suggested and given to the staff, and they've, had time to look through it, but from a communication standpoint, with the lead service lines, we'll want to, reach out again, use more than just your website, start using multiple, strategies, because we asked the residents to go do that survey and, have just barely gotten some of them to engage, which is not atypical. We're used to, you have to ask about 3 or 4 times before somebody really starts to remember that you've asked that before and start to engage. So we need to work through and, decide with you all how you want to take those next steps and communicate. And the CCR is one of those components.
Okay.
Sometimes, Joel, I wish we could show them what it was like 20 years ago and 30 years ago and show how the quality is. No, seriously.
I know, I read, there, I see every now and then I throw out at Clint, I'll say, look at this comment on Facebook, because it's like, you want to say, it's like, people move here and they say, this water is gross. Well, you should have maybe drank the water before you bought a house out here, right?
Yeah.
But I've drank it my whole life, and,
Yeah, back in the day, you could
oh, definitely tell.
distinguish the water here from other places, but
Yeah.
it's tremendously.
I think so.
Do you have any say, Mayor? Do you have anything to say about our water? Because you get probably the complaints like I do.
I grew up with it, grew up in Magna and then here. I drink it every day.
Yeah.
It just reminds those residents that when they buy their bottled water, they're adding minerals back in, trying to get it to Magna water. Great, bottled companies try hard.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
I'll maybe just compliment Raymond and his crew too, because behind the CCR, there's a lot of sampling and a lot of attention to detail. This next year, in fact, this year, I think we're doing some additional sampling for PFAS. And just there's always a new set of chemicals that we're looking for. So great work on his part of this issue.
Well, I want to thank all you guys for all your hard work.
Well, thanks, Joel, for your
Yes.
help.
So do we have,
We have to motion on that.
do we have the confidence report? Is it done?
It's in the, well, from Joel's comments, there's a couple of there's a couple of things we wanted to add,
2 or 3 paragraphs
Okay.
that talk about this service line
but it should be at the bottom of your packet.
way down.
I think it's the last insert.
Page 82.
What page? I'm in. Confidence report.
There's a lot of stuff in the packet.
There it is right there.
We're all new at the computer, so we let Jeff be the one to start it out
Yeah,
first.
he's done wonderful.
Yeah.
I like hard copy.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve and distribute the 2022 Consumer Confidence Report.
Second, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approve and, field employees' uniforms from Centos. I'm gonna let you take that, Andrew.
Okay. So the process we took was we had managers and employees come in and check out different options. We wanted to try and keep it uniform though. We didn't want to just
Right.
send it out as carte blanche just wherever
Yeah.
they offer. So what we came up with to offer is blue polo. Obviously, it'll have our logo and their name on it rather than this logo. This blue long sleeve will be offered, as well as this same blue, but in a short sleeve for summer months. It comes with a vent in the back to keep them cool. They all like the material. And then 2 pants options, just a regular pair of Carhartt jeans, and then a pair of ripstock Carhartt jeans. Most of them preferred this style.
Yep. A lot cooler.
It's a lot cooler, but in the winter, they might find that they're gonna prefer a pair of jeans
I don't know.
in some areas, but maybe not. And so we would suggest that we approve this and we can move forward with getting people sized and
Okay, so the question we talked about is, and I was the big one about, the uniforms, because I think when we're out there in the public, we need to look professional but the question I have, do we know what the cost is? And do we know what because like I said, we've already had complaints that I can't wear that stuff because I'm allergic to,
I think
we've
addressed those concerns.
okay,
Oh, have we?
I'm allergic to, the detergent, or, because I know it's gonna come with, I talked to Liao yesterday for a minute about this, and it's gonna come with a pretty hefty cost, and so, I don't know how Jeff feels, but I would like to have a little bit more discussion on this, and
Well, we were talking about, when does the Centos contract end?
June of next year, so we've got to notify them in March next year that we're gonna go to,
Okay.
go out to look for other.
Have you had a chance, Andrew, yourself, to look at any, we did some bids on it, I believe. Didn't we, Liao, do some bids on uniform and,
Oh, we haven't done that for
well, I
a
mean,
bit.
3 years.
It's probably been
4.5 years. This
Oh,
is
has
a-
it been
This
that
is a 5-year contract that we're in.
Oh, 5-year contract,
And-
okay, I thought it was 3.
So that's why, and the way it's written is that we have to give them written notification 90 days before the contract's up, or it automatically renews at the 5, for another 5 years.
I think what we need to do next year is we need to look and see who's out there. I don't know if
I
there's a
agree.
lot
I
of
think
people.
we're gonna start looking come this fall.
Yeah.
And start seeing what prices are out there and what options are out there.
Now, I talked to the asphalt guys, and what they do is they buy all their stuff, and then they just pay to launder them, because the asphalt ruins their clothes.
Yeah.
But they felt like that was cheaper, because they were really getting stabbed by
Yeah.
providing it. Every time it has, that's no good, we gotta replace it, and it was, so they bought their clothes, and then they just had them laundered.
Yeah,
So
I think
anyway,
we'll look at both options as far as
Yeah.
purchase and rental when it comes time.
okay.
So the question I have, and this addresses the legal counsel, so you said you've kind of addressed the issues with the people with the laundry soap, the ones that say they get, itchy or whatever. So what, we said, well, okay, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to come to us with a note from a doctor. So what happens if I end up saying, hey, I can't wear this stuff, it's itchy, it's this, it's that, and we still have a contract? So now we gotta make conceptions for this employee or employees, because if one jumps on the wagon, then you're gonna have more majority of people jumping on that, and we're paying for this service that we can't really use. So now where do we go with this?
So I think that, first of all, Andrew, my understanding is you've already had the folks with that issue
Yes.
try these clothes and they're comfortable with them. But the point is, let's say that they change their mind after the fact. What we would say is, okay, we've already gone through this. We gave you a chance to approve it. You tested it out. You need to give us something more than it's itchy. Like, you gotta come to us with a doctor's note. And then if they do, then we can make reasonable accommodations, and maybe we say, okay, find something that's similar. But in my experience, that issue is extremely rare. I think that now that you've had people test it and they've approved it, I think it's unlikely that we're gonna get someone who's gonna be able to get a doctor's note. And if someone is, I think it's probably gonna be maybe 1 to 2 people. If that, because I don't think you had that many people complain in the first
No,
place.
and what it'll come down to is once you tell them there's a doctor's note, people will back off the.
Yeah, that's been my experience too.
Well, we had trouble because Levi's give you the best protection than the Carhartt. Carhartt rips easier.
Yeah.
But they like them because they're cooler. But they also, if you get wet, they dry faster.
Yeah.
But most of the guys that had allergic reaction, and I talked to the asphalt guys about it, do you have guys that do that? They said they have a spray they put on it, kind of helps eliminate that. It's, I don't know if it's softener or what it is, but anyway, they've all but eliminated those. But I had a guy personally that said, I just can't have anything laundered, and I'm going, well, you gotta launder something. We can't stand to be around it. So I
I'd
don't
be
know.
interested in what that is that they use.
Yeah, I'll find out.
So my other concern, and like I said, I'm the big supporter that wanted to do these uniforms, but I'm starting to think of the cost, because to launder all this is going to be very expensive. So I was thinking the other night, just sitting home, kind of going over this. I thought, wonder if we were to, we used to give them $300 a year, and they bought their clothes, and then they also laundered them. Now we continue to buy the clothes and launder them down at the sewer plant because we have to, because of, the sewage and all that stuff. But wonder if we were to come up with a decision, say, okay, we'll give you $150. You go buy, you tell them what jeans we want, and you let them buy them jeans, and then we furnish them the shirt that has the Magna Water logo and their name on it. We go ahead and we pay for that, but yet they launder it, so we don't have to launder anything.
The risky run is that even our water side still has an opportunity of hitting a sewer line. And so then at that stage, the cost would be exorbitantly more than.
What is the cost right now with what you've got? with,
I'd have to get a breakdown of exactly.
See, because I don't want to approve anything until we have
we probably
what
ought
the,
to.
what the cost
Now that you've
is.
got everything approved, it looks really good. I think you've got a good variation. It looks really nice, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it does, but I
So
don't
why-
want to.
Why don't I put a cost to it?
Well, that's what I said. I want to put a cost to it and see. I want to run the cost. I want to run the cost both ways. I want to run it if we were to pay for their jeans, and then they'd have a spare pair of jeans and a spare shirt or whatever. You know, we'd furnish the shirt, and they would pay for their jeans. And let's just see what the cost. And I want to see what the cost is of laundry and all this stuff, because I know it's going to be expensive.
It is.
And again, like I always say, I work for the taxpayers of this town, so I want to make sure.
No, I think you've done a good job picking the stuff.
Yeah,
out. That
I
really
like what
looks
you
good.
picked.
Yeah, let's put a cost to it then, and we'll get it next month.
Or could we purchase the jeans and the shirts and then just give them to them and they laundry them? You know, is that something we could do too?
And they launder their own?
Yeah, because
That's something that we'd have to,
we're doing it now.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we're,
except I was kind of thinking maybe we could also provide a bag that they could put their dirty laundry in, and then that way they could take it home. It minimizes.
because if that's the case, we're not in compliance right now then.
This is a policy call. I think either of these approaches could work, and it's really up to you as the board to determine what makes the most sense. But one consideration that I would raise, and this shouldn't be a determining factor, it's just something you should consider, is if you're relying on the employees to launder the clothes, there's no way for us to really guarantee that they launder it appropriately or that they launder it at all. And that may be an acceptable risk, right? You may get the numbers back on the laundry and just be like, gosh, this is just way too much money, it's worth it. But that's just something to keep in mind. That is the one downside to putting that burden on the employee is there's really no way for us to enforce it. Unless we see, hey, your clothes are tattered and.
We'll have to also consider the union contract, what is currently contracted as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because our contract says that we will furnish them with, you know, clothing, but in the past, we just gave them money. And they went an allowance of $300, and they went out and bought their pants and shirts. But the question I have is,
I think we might have put into it this time that they'll have to launder it through us, because we didn't want the clothes going home. But I'll have to check and make certain on that.
I can pull that up while we're talking.
So this, breakdown we did at the end of 21, and the average weekly cost for one employee was about $65.
a week? Okay, so I got a question, and I was on this board, and I'm just can't remember, but why did we give them a $300 allowance over uniforms? I'm lost on that, because I remember us doing the $300, but why did we do that?
If I remember correctly, I wasn't in 100% of the conversations,
Right.
but the cost of Cintas was
Out of sight.
out of sight, and the board wanted to see, or the board, the management, whoever, wanted to see if there was some other alternative to, you know, reduce the cost. And that's where the $300 came in. We kind of did the same kind of analysis on how much we were spending on each employee through Cintas and cut it in half, almost half, I guess. But this little breakout looks like we're spending about $700 per year.
So
Per
I
employee.
know we cut back on laundry and the
that's kinda
rugs.
why we did that, yeah.
Remember, the rugs are being laundered every week or whatever the deal, and we said, no, there's no reason why we can't just vacuum them or whatever in the wintertime, maybe change them out a little bit more
No, I think
because,
we do those once a month.
okay,
So I've pulled up the union contract that was approved, and Article 31 states as follows. For safety considerations, all employees will be required to use uniforms and the laundering service, both of which will be provided by employer. And so then we also say that that the employer will provide each employee safety footwear that are slip resistant.
right.
Okay. Well, so I think we'll save money if we buy the clothing
Yeah, it'd be
and
interesting.
then have Centos launder. I think you're gonna save money right there.
Well, so they won't launder,
They won't launder unless it's their material.
that's,
Oh, they
well, they
won't.
won't launder even the stuff you bought from them. So that was, the first thing that I did was I said, well, we'll buy this. And they said, well, we'll only launder what we rent because the risk of ruining clothes that you purchase. And so at that stage, I told them, well, we're up in a year and we'll see if we can find a service that'll allow.
There might be some others out there that just
Yeah,
do the
what?
laundry.
Yeah.
We ought to check into that.
Or,
That might be
yes.
worth checking into.
Well, that's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm wondering if we turned around and kind of went out and just kind of talked to other people and so we have 1 year left. What is the buyout on that contract? You know,
Yeah, good
that
idea.
contract might be worth buying it out and going to somebody else and we're saving money. You know what I'm trying to say?
I would check and see first, if we got people that we could buy our own clothing and that way we can determine.
You know what we
when
could
wanna
do?
change it
I
out.
got thinking about this. We could buy our own clothing and then hire someone to wash them for them every
Yeah,
day.
that's what I said.
Right here, we'll put in a washer and dryer and we'll have a laundry man every day.
Just have a temporary, not temporary, but
That is
part-time.
what we did at the power plant.
That's what we did at Kennecott back in the day.
I guarantee you, we could get somebody to come down the sewer treatment plant and they would launder the clothes right there, washer and
I
dryer.
bet you could.
They make good stuff nowadays.
Where do I bid for that job? But so do we want to table and have more of a discussion on this? I mean,
I think we need to find out what the buyout is, because you guys all know that it's gonna be very expensive. So let's look at what the buyout is. Let's look at possibly somebody that would launder our clothes, if we bought them and they would launder them. Then you guys can determine when they need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Because the asphalt guy said that was the worst thing that cost them, was they would decide when they wanted to replace them.
Exactly.
And it got expensive. Yeah.
All of a sudden, you look at the invoice, you're being charged for 2 pairs of pants. You're like,
and that happened to us.
uh-huh.
Can we buy all this stuff online ourselves?
I'm sure.
Okay.
So Andrew, so I gotta ask you a question, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but, so why did we give $300 and let them buy their clothes and launder them? And now it's mandatory, is there a law out there that says that we have to mandatory to wash them clothes?
No, there's not, but the risk of somebody taking home something from our sewer and getting.
I get the sewer deal. The sewer deal, we're gonna have to do that no matter what. They're gonna have to wear our clothes, and we're gonna have to laundry them clothes for out in the sewer plat or even out on the
We
whatever.
just determined that even our water guys have the opportunity to strike into a sewer
Yeah,
line.
and I think
Be
it's just-
being cross-trained to the other side.
Yeah.
And things like that, that
I
would
think
limit
if
our
we-
operation.
I think if we could do that, let's try to do that. Let's try to do
Okay.
it. Let's look at, I think we can get something more reasonable than what we're been paying right now.
And I
So
think the
let's-
$300, excuse me, the $300 came because we were buying the uniforms and they weren't wearing them. So it went back, so well, why don't we just give you $300?
Just
and-
give, I remember
But you know,
that's what
but
it
you know
was.
what, okay, but then you stop and look, we're paying for a service that we're not even using.
Right.
Yep, that's what it was.
So we're giving $300 because they're not laundering their clothes, but we're still paying for that service because so we're
It did reduce it.
double paying.
Well,
So
it did
let's-
reduce it, because we were able to take some of those employees off it there.
Okay.
I mean, we still got their coveralls through Cintas, but the
Right.
pants and the shirts,
Right.
we were able to take them
I
off.
think we ought to do the whole thing. I think we get somebody to launder, buy them ourselves. When's our next meeting, Leon?
July
Damn,
13th.
is
I
it the
believe.
13th?
Okay,
Do you
yeah.
think that's enough time to
Yeah.
get the information together?
I'll gather up some information.
Don't you think? Is that okay? with you?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I
Let's
just,
get a number. Let's know where we're gonna go.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll
it
come
is
back
July
July
13th.
13th.
I don't have any idea. I'd have to ask them who they use.
but you know, the thing is though, you gotta remember, you can't make them launder them clothes.
No.
I mean, if they wanna wear them for 30 days, what do you do?
No, I think, but we're trying to get them to cross-train and do that stuff. You never can tell when somebody gets in. I think we just take.
Have we
care of
had much, drawback on this?
No.
Not at all, okay.
They were actually really, really happy with the options that they were offered.
it. Oh, you've picked up some good stuff. I'll tell you, I'd wear it. I'd wear it.
So I think overall, I don't think I had anybody complain that.
Okay, so you know what, if we don't have a problem with that, I think what we need to do is we need to shop around I don't know if we really want to buy the clothes. We could go through it with a company that does that. We could go with a company that actually, like you say, has the clothes and they'll laundry them and get a cost, but I don't know. I mean, I never really thought about that this deep until just the other day. I was thinking about costs and thought, whoa, that could be
Well, the
pretty.
biggest problem they had is the uniforms that Centos provided were itchy, scratchy.
Yeah.
They didn't like them, and the stuff you've got there with the options.
Yeah.
I love those Carhartts.
Right.
They are pretty comfortable and flexible, and they get wet, they dry out fast, and in the hot time of the year, they're way more cool.
And usually though, correct me if I'm right or wrong, but usually when we're doing a water line, they put on coveralls, don't they, or do they not?
The winter, most of the time they do, summer they don't.
Because I know Salt Lake City Water, they let the guys wear cutoffs, and then what they do is when they're out replacing the line or whatever, they make them put coveralls over their cutoffs.
I don't know about cutoffs because you're exposed to a lot of hazards.
Right, but like they let the meter reader guys, they're allowed to wear cutoffs and,
Well, if one does it, then you got everybody.
well, no, you do, you said presidents, I understand that.
Uh,
So why don't we do this? Why don't we bring this back next month and let's look at costs? And,
Let's see who else could do it, whether they provide it, go ahead and shop, whether we buy the stuff or they buy the stuff.
Okay. And see what. it
but I
takes to
think
get
the
out of
problem,
contract.
you're gonna have though is if we buy the stuff, they're not gonna wanna launder it because
No,
they
no,
don't, they don't wanna be held accountable if,
If they rip something or tear it up.
so, I mean, my recommendation, if we do this, we should
Well,
just,
let's ask.
no,
What do
we
you
can,
think?
yeah, oh yeah.
Just ask.
So I'll come back.
No, I think they need to provide exactly what you've asked them in and what they've picked out.
Yeah.
Let's stay in that type of material because.
Do you guys
you've
have
got
any
a-
other comments that, you wanna bring to the board and address? I mean,
I think it's worth looking at all your options.
I agree.
Buy, launder, whatever.
Well, we started something now, even though we've got a year left in Cintas, but you started something and I think that's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be good for everybody.
and then will you also check to see how many rugs we have, here and down to the EDR plant and down to the sewer plant and see what,
Pretty sure we only launder those once a month.
okay? And
But
then we can find out what the cost is on that. And
So I'll come back on the 13th with the cost for this and maybe some alternative costs and what it's gonna take to get out of our contract with
Yeah.
Cintas prior to.
I wonder why we went a 5-year contract, and you probably don't know, and I
No,
don't.
they made us do that. They
Well,
made it. They wouldn't
okay.
sign it unless we did it.
For a
There
lot,
was, there appears to be no board signature on the contract.
Of course not. That's what happened all the time.
for a while, we would change the terms, I mean, this is like years ago, we would change the terms to 1 year, and then they would allow us, but then they stopped allowing us to change it to 1 year. They wouldn't let us do it, so it's probably just that type of thing.
I get so mad when I think about that, and also we turned around and we bought new trucks without board approval.
I remember that.
So we'll come back with those costs and number of rugs and what it might take to buy out that contract.
Okay. And maybe they'll negotiate with us.
It'd be nice.
Maybe if they're saying,
don't
we're saying to them, hey, we're gonna be, we're looking at this contract, we wanna check, see what it'd be buyout, cause we're gonna go shop. And they might say, no, you know what, we'll do this and we'll do this, and that, sometimes that helps for the first year, but I just don't think that we should get into a 5-year contract.
I agree.
I mean, I think if we could do it yearly and negotiate where we have a little bit of power, to
But
just,
sometimes they'll hold the price though
Right.
if you do a 5-year contract, so.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're not changing a lot of people that rapidly.
and I think 3 years would be great.
Huh?
3 years would be great.
Yeah,
5 years to me seems a little long.
but if they lock the price in for 5,
Yeah.
then that's good too.
So you read
And they
that
haven't
part?
locked prices in.
No.
We've seen increases.
I'll talk to both these guys and find out who they're using just to see.
That'd be good.
Because remember the time when we had that deal and we said, no, it's getting way too high, you need to go back and renegotiate.
Yeah.
Okay,
They did, they renegotiated and they said, okay, it'll be 5 years, I remember that.
and if you don't let the board know, we'll even do this for you. Okay.
So should we
We'll
make a
just,
motion to
should we,
table?
should we just, Nathan, would we just table it till next
Yeah, you
month?
just table it. You don't have to
Okay.
act on it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just table it and then we'll come back on the 13th. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, any other business that we want to address? And I had something that I wanted to bring up. I forgot what it was. Oh, I know what I was gonna ask, and the mayor might even add to this. So we need to make sure that our flow for the fire hydrants is we got plenty of pressure. We've had 3 fires in 3 days. We had an apartment fire, then we had one down on 3100 and 8800 the night before last, and then yesterday we had one over on Peels Mortuary Street where a garage burned down and they had to run the hoses from Peels up. So I just want to make sure that we have the pressure that we need, because remember we had that incident over on 8650
Too
where
small of a line.
where they said too small of a line and they
4
couldn't
inch.
and they didn't have enough pressure.
Yeah.
So I think we need to,
They had to run, excuse me,
they had to run from, in front of Peel's house, where the mortuary is, and then their house, there's a fire hydrant there, and they had to run hose from there on up. And no one said they didn't have pressure. I'm just saying, I just want to make sure that we have pressure in the town, just so something like this happens. Because they were fighting the fire from over at them apartments, shooting water over the fence at that garage.
you know, looking to.
You knew about that, didn't you, Dan? Okay, yeah, yesterday we had a fire.
And an earthquake.
And then we had one on the night before on 31, where Pasternak's.
Wow.
It's in the afternoon, wasn't it?
I don't know, I just saw it on the news, but I
I
didn't know
heard
it
that,
was
I.
Oh,
I
there's
heard
quake
the building
yesterday?
shake, but
I
it was
didn't
so
feel it.
quick that. I
Yeah, they had a
didn't-
big deal about the
didn't really
earthquake
know.
on the news yesterday out here.
Magdalene this morning.
So we just need to make sure we check everything, just so we're. Other than that,
Okay.
I have nothing. Do you have anything
No.
you want to address?
No.
You guys have anything you want to address? I see none. Do we want to make a motion?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
At 10:48.
Oh, yeah.
I like